Hello. I'm going to do my pickups now from the last month, and it's mainly PS2 with a little sprinkling of some other systems. I'll explain as I go where they came from and all that kind of stuff. So the first game I'm going to show you is a Game Boy kart, which is quite unusual for me, to be honest. The kart in question is Robocop versus Terminator. This is the USA variant. So this was £14.50, which I don't think is too bad. This is just one of those games that I never quite managed to pick up, and it's a Robocop versus Terminator game on the Game Boy. So I don't think there's a UK variant of this one. I think there's a USA and there's a European one, which is FOE or something. So I think this is probably the better of the two, because I think the other one would have like foreign language on the sticker, which I wouldn't really like. But it's obviously like a really boring sticker, but it's a Robocop versus Terminator game, like I say. So this was one of those games I always kind of wanted to grab, and I think the price is not bad. Like, I don't think it's too bad. I'd imagine this game on average probably sells for anything between, I want to say like 20 and 40. Maybe 40 is a bit high, but I'm not sure. Like, you don't see it often, so there's not a lot of reference for that. This is a bit of a random one. I kind of meant to show this last time. It's RC2 Go on the PS1. I got this ages ago from Entertainment World in Birmingham. So I was off work for a week, and I did a little trip to Birmingham. I went to Vintage Gamer and I went to Entertainment World. I only came away with this. So this was £6, which is a very good price. I have reboxed it, but it's all there and condition's pretty decent. Ever since I kind of heard of this game, I kind of wanted it. It's a racing game where you play as RC cars or remote control cars, and I did have a little bash on it. It's quite fun, but yeah, it's just a nice one to add to the collection. I think it's about £15 in CX. So again, really good deal, and I've been to Vintage Gamer before, and I'd really recommend visiting that place. My first time in Entertainment World was when I got this, and I would really recommend visiting that place. Both awesome shops. Entertainment World was just like full of like everything you could think of, like VHS, figures, PC games, PS1, PS2, etc. I just loved it. You know, you could have a real route through. It was great, and I'll definitely be trying to get back there at some point. The only SNES game I have, this was from CX, and it was £8. So I just picked this up because it was fairly cheap, and you know, I like the game. SNES is one of those consoles where I only really collect unboxed. You know, I don't want to be splashing out unboxed SNES games, and I'll just pick ones up when I see them that are good prices or that I kind of like. And Toy Story is certainly a game that I remember playing as a kid. I don't really remember like what I played it on or anything, but I played it as an adult as well, and it's just a cool game. So that was a nice one. It's a good price. So that'll go in my SNES collection. Now we're on to just purely PS2. There is a load. The first game is from CX. This is the only one from CX, I think. So this was £12, and it is Resident Evil Outbreak. This is kind of completing my Resident Evil collection on the PS2, minus Survivor 2, I think. This completes like the kind of like gettable games, if you get what I mean. Like in terms of like all the games that are around the 10-20 mark, I've got them, and this was the last of them. So I have 4 Dead Aim, Outbreak, Outbreak File 2, Code Veronica, and I think the only one I don't have is Survivor 2, which obviously I'd love to have, but it's expensive. I don't know what it goes for in CX at the minute. I think it's probably like 85 or something. But it was just really nice to get this one. It's in really nice condition. Used a CX voucher, so that's what it's there for. Now we're on to lots of PS2 games. Now just recently I had a bit of a PS2 drive. I think I just sort of, there was a couple of titles that I wish I'd picked up a while ago, and I was seeing the prices go up, and I was like, right, let's get on PS2 bundles. And I just started looking around, and I saw a few good bundles, so that's where all these games came from. So I'm just going to go through them. The first one, I've said before many times, I'm a big FPS fan, so I just really wanted the FPS games, Unreal Tournament being one of them. Never played it on the PS2, but I remember playing this in secondary school on the PC. Lunchtime, playing multiplayer. It's really good fun. It's a great game. Haven't played it in a long time though, but a nice one to add. And a nice cheap one as well. This is one that people who watched my last pickups video will have heard mentioned. The Suffering 1. So I bought the Suffering 2 from CEX, and I said at the time that the one that I really wanted was the first one. So I now have the first one. So I'm really chuffed about that. Because, you know, I like to collect the horror games. There's just something about them. And this is, I guess, some sort of violent horror game. Never played it. Probably wouldn't play through it personally because, you know, I enjoy horror, but when it's extreme... I mean, I watched The Terrifier last night, so this stuff's on my mind. But, you know, I like a horror with a good story, you know, The Omen, The Shining. But when it comes to just sheer gore, not so much. I mean, what The Suffering offers, I don't know, but it just looks a bit violent for me. But it will sit nicely on the shelf. This is a bit of a win for the collectors. So the collectors amongst me will understand this. I already had this game, but I bought this game again because I needed the manual and poster, which I now have, which is awesome. So it was one of them where I got this game in a bundle ages ago. I didn't have the manual and poster, so I was like, I need the manual and poster for Vice City Stories. So I saw it for like 15 quid. I bought that, I stole the poster and the manual, I put it into my copy, and then I sold Vice City Stories, the other one I had, without the manual and poster, for 15 quid. So I didn't lose any money, and I added what I wanted to my version, and this is really nice nick. It's like the most expensive GTA game on the PS2. I haven't played it much, I've played it like a tiny bit, but I'm not a big GTA sort of person. I do enjoy it, but I'm not like an expert by any means. But I mean, I love the artwork, you know, it just looks awesome. So that was like really cool to make that complete. We all know we have those little things in the collection where you're like, oh, I just want to just complete that, I want to upgrade that, or whatever you want to do. But this one's a bit random, to be honest. This is Heroes of Might and Magic. It wasn't really on the list, but there's a friend of mine who mentioned this video game to me. And they don't play a lot of games, but this was like one of the games that they mentioned to me, so it kind of just stuck in my mind. When this game came through in a bundle, I thought I got to keep it, you know. And I actually really like the artwork. It looks kind of cool. It looks kind of neat. But I haven't played this game. But you know what? I've just realised I didn't know this, and it definitely didn't say in the listing. Oh, is it? I think it's a foreign version. I think it's a foreign. That's so weird, because it says Heroes of Might and Magic, Quest for the Dragonbone Staff. But it's got like a foreign language, like a foreign rating in the bottom. But then when you read on the back, and this is what made me think, oh, it's a foreign version. It's in foreign. It's in like French or something. That's so weird. What? I'm gonna have to look that up to see if there is an English version of this game or what. I don't know. This is definitely not English though. So maybe this one will be getting sold. I don't know. I don't think it makes a big difference really, because it wasn't. In terms of, you know, I've been buying bundles and sort of making sure I can make my money back and keep what I want. But this wasn't one of the like big sellers or anything. So, but that's just a bit of a shame. But I need to look into that. I don't know if that is like a foreign only game. You know, I'd probably keep it. But if there is an English version, I'd obviously prefer that. This is a bit of a random one, really. It's not like a game I was looking for, but I was thinking I'm going to keep Age of Empires 2. I mentioned this last time, but for me, this kind of comes under a title released on a system that you really wouldn't associate it with. Obviously, Age of Empires, I think PC, but to get a sort of PS2 port of it, I find that kind of quirky. So I think that's kind of neat. I do actually have a Age of Empires game on the DS as well, which is sort of similar, really. It's a bit of an oddity in a sense. But Age of Empires is not a game that I've really played. I do. I don't know if other collectors find this, but I feel like every time you go through the pickup, you're always like, it's not a game I've really played. But I do like games like this, though. I played Commandos, which is somewhat similar. in terms of the view and the way the game mechanics and stuff, but that's a good game. Anyway, Shadow of Rome. So this, interestingly, wouldn't really be on the list, but as I've said before, I made a PS2 Hidden Gems video. I'm by no means a PS2 expert, and people gave me lots of good recommendations, I think. And one of them was Shadow of Rome. It looks quite violent. It's an 18. I don't know loads about it, but it does look good, and it was on the list, you know, for me after that. That's what I'd like to do, is buy all the games that were mentioned, and I've got quite a few of them now. And then do another video where maybe I play through them and give my opinion. The only downside with this one, there's a bit of wear. I mean, a lot of these are in good condition, but this one, there is a bit of wear. There's a bit of wear on the inlay there. There's like a puncture in it there. I don't know whether you can see it. I think you can a little bit. The insides are nice. The disc and the manual are nice, but it's just the inlay really. So maybe I'll look to upgrade that at some stage. This is a nice one. The condition's not the best of the bunch, but this is one that I'd always really wanted. Outrun 2006, Coast to Coast. This is one of those games that I'd always heard was good. I haven't actually played it, but yeah, I just think it's a neat sort of game, really. Outrun's obviously a classic, and you don't really hear much about it now, but for it to get like a kind of modernized port on the PS2 is kind of neat. As I said, condition-wise, I don't know. I think the manual looks a little bit faded. The disc is it's not too bad, but you know, when you're picky, I would have loved that one to be pristine, but you know, it can be upgraded, and it's just nice to finally have it in the collection. And I'll definitely look to play that at some point, because yeah, I've heard it's good. So this one's kind of interesting. This was never on the list. Death by Degrees. This is probably the most expensive game in my bundle, actually. This is like a Tekken spin-off. I was a big Tekken 3 fan, so I'm very familiar with Nina. I've never played this. I think it's like a beat-em-up game, and in CX it's like £40, so it's quite expensive, but mine's in like mint nick, to be fair. The disc's in like minty nick. And this was one of those games that when I got it, I thought if I need to sell it, I will, because I don't want to be like sort of shelling out lots of money. But I think I'm probably going to be able to keep it and draw even anyway. Because the bundle that this came in, there was a lot of like good condition games that sort of could demand a slightly higher price. But like I say, that's kind of a neat one. I would like to play it to see what it's like. But as far as I know, it's a beat 'em up where you play as Nina, and it's one that you don't really hear a great deal about, I don't think. But I'd be interested to hear if anyone's played it and what they think. This one's kind of cool, Maximo. So this is one of those games that I'd always just been intrigued by the artwork. And it kind of was on the list, and then it was off the list, because I was kind of like, it doesn't really mean anything to me. But then I kind of heard that this was a spin-off of Ghouls and Ghosts, which I'm not like a massive fan of or anything, but I'm really aware of that game. And that just kind of intrigued me, that this was a kind of spin-off. And I looked at some footage online. It looks pretty good, to be fair. Maximo, kind of cool, kind of cool. There's a sequel as well that I do want, to be fair, because if I'm going to have the first one, I kind of would like the sequel as well. So I'll be on the lookout for that. This game is something I've been looking for ages. It's an FPS, SERIOUS Evolution. The shame with this one is it's not the best condition. Like you can see along the top, you've got scuffage. Manual doesn't look bad, but what's the disc saying? Not too bad. But like I say, when you're a picky collector, inlay scuffage, we will need to be replacing that. But yeah, I've not played this Turok. I did play the first one on the PC back in the day, you know, way back, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, so always thought that was kind of neat. This was a game I would say I was probably looking for most out of this whole bundle, which is Predator, Concrete Jungle. I mean, I don't know what it was about this game, it just really intrigued me. Obviously I like kind of horror and more sort of adult games and movie games, so it ticks a few boxes. I'm a little bit undecided whether this is meant to be good or not, because I kind of heard this was meant to be good, but then I also heard someone saying it's meant to be shit, so I'm like, I don't know anymore. It looks quite good, but I've no idea if it is or not. But this is in really nice condition, and like I say, this is a good example of a game where I kind of had a chance to pick it up in Birmingham, I think, the one time, Birmingham Market, and I kind of always thought, oh, I should have picked it up, and it just keeps creeping up in price, and I was like, I need to grab that game. So I'm glad to say I've got that. This is one, Red Dead Revolver. This wasn't really on the list, to be honest, but it's obviously it's the original sort of Red Dead Redemption, so it just kind of intrigues me. I think it's kind of cool. It's obviously a Rockstar title. I've not really played the Red Dead games much at all, but kind of neat, you know, kind of neat again. It's just one that I just fancied, so... This is another game that I had recommended to me, so that's why I've got it, Beyond Good and Evil. In fantastic condition. Obviously I've never played it, but I've got this as it was like a PS2 recommendation for a hidden gem, and I think they're remaking this game, which may or may not change the value of the original, but it's not a particularly expensive game anyway, but that will be going towards my hidden gem recommendations video thing, so yeah, that's cool. Anyway, that was my mega haul of PS2 games. Hopefully that was fun for people. Let us know what you think, guys. Always nice to hear from everyone. And I will see you soon, hopefully, because I'm going to go to Cardiff Gaming Market and hopefully I'll have some pickups to show. See you in a bit.